Hello, children. So, we are back to South America. After you have done the map pointing, and I've also learned about the location, the political divisions, the latitudinal and longitudinal extent. So, you have a cursory knowledge about South America. But when you think about it, there are so many continents in the world, and so many of us are busy traveling when we have a vacation. We go abroad. When we go abroad, which are the places we generally choose? We generally choose places to go in North America. Europe is a good destination. If we want to go a little bit south, then we go to Australia. And South Africa is also gaining a little bit of popularity. But there are very few people who choose South America as their preferred destination. So it's as if, this is a continent which is very less traveled for several reasons. We are not here to discuss them, but South America has some of the most beautiful natural wonders to offer you. May they be, as I told you, natural. The landscape is very, very beautiful. And apart from that, it has also got man-made things to offer. South America has a very, very rich history. Have you heard of the Aztecs? So what we are going to do today is we are going to select a few cities which are there in your textbooks. Please open to page number 110, and we are going to take a tour of these cities and see how beautiful, beautiful South America is. And there are some points which I have written down. You are most welcome to underline those relevant portions in your textbooks. Bienvenida America del Sur. What I am trying to say here is welcome to South America. Since South America or Latin America is predominantly the language Spanish is spoken here, so I just tried my hand over there a little. But let's come back. Which are the 6 cities that we are going to study? I've marked them in red over here. You can see Caracas in Venezuela, Quito in Ecuador, La Paz in Bolivia, Buenos Aires in Argentina, and Brasilia and Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. So let us first start with Buenos Aires. Now, if you take the literal translation of Buenos Aires and translate it from Spanish, it means good wind, fair air. It's fairly acceptable as a name because since it is the largest city of Argentina and located in Argentina and also happens to be the capital of Argentina, see, Argentina is a place which is south of the Tropic of Capricorn. So it has a very nice weather. It must be having, and being close to the Antarctic Circle and dominated by a lot of grasslands, though I can see that here there's a beautiful city over here. The cityscape is very beautiful, but still the pollution level must be very less over here. And since it's a tapering peninsula, so naturally the land breeze and the sea breeze must also be playing a good part over here. So this is probably the reason why this city is known as Buenos Aires. You can see this cityscape in the 3 pictures that I have selected for you. And what I have written is that it is the capital and largest city of Argentina. You may underline all these relevant points in your book. It has a busy harbor at the mouth of the river La Plata. When you were map pointing, you had come across the La Plata, and since this city is located at the mouth of the La Plata, it has a beautiful port. Just below the cityscape over here, we can see the port. And lastly, it is connected by the Trans-Andean Railway. Trans-Andean Railway, which goes through the Andes to the Valparaiso and Santiago through a tunnel in the Uspallata Pass. So look at this tunnel. It's such a beautiful tunnel. It is cutting through the Andes, and I'm sure that such a train ride is really a joy to the eyes. So this is what you can expect if, God willing, you ever visit Buenos Aires. Next we come to Rio de Janeiro. Now Rio is one of the most famous cities of South America. It is located in the Atlantic coast, and it is the second largest city in Brazil after Sao Paulo. Now you can see the mountains which are over here. These are known as the Sugarloaf Mountains, and it overlooks the city, and it is a beautiful, beautiful, picturesque city. Again, since it is located in the Atlantic coast, it has a beautiful natural harbor. All right. So this separate photograph which I have put apart from the collage over here is actually the natural harbor. Man has nothing to do with it, because if you look at the map of South America, you will see the coastline is as it is very broken, or in other words, we call it indented. So since it is already broken or indented, the ships can easily come in and dock there. So it's a natural harbor. Rio de Janeiro is the old capital of Brazil. And I'm sure this Christ the Redeemer, this is something that all of you must have seen. It is the symbol of Rio de Janeiro. Moving on to the next city of Brazil, it is Brasilia. It is a very well planned city, and since it's a modern city, it kind of stands as a symbol of unity and progressiveness. As I told you that ever since the time of colonization, as well as later on, all the countries, they have never really been very, very much at peace. There have been civil wars, there have been other civil unrests and things like that. But you know, the world has now realized, a large chunk of the population has now realized that it's better to live in peace, because we are leaving behind generations, and these children, it's better if they see love and peace rather than hatred. There's a lot of hatred in the world, and we don't need more of it. So they are trying to make monuments which is like a symbol of unity and progressiveness. And as we can see that in Brasilia, there are a lot of offices, a lot of administrative work takes place from here. So a large population of the government officials and people working with civil administration is found here. Moving on to Venezuela in the north. The capital of Venezuela is Caracas. It is a very important commercial center. And why is that? Venezuela has petroleum mines. And we know what is petroleum. It is liquid gold. It fetches a lot of money. Wherever your cars and all other vehicles, they run on petroleum and diesel. And there are many other byproducts which we can get from petroleum. So that is the reason why if you have petroleum in your country, that is going to make you rich, because you can mine the petroleum, you can refine the petroleum, and then you can sell it to the rest of the world, because the entire world requires petroleum, but they don't have it. So you see, this is the reason why the Gulf portion, the Persian Gulf, those area, UAE and all that, they are so rich. Why? Because the money comes from oil. So any place which has oil mines, they can make a lot of money out of it. So since petroleum is mined in the country, it is consequently exported to earn foreign exchange. And look at some of the beautiful constructions of Caracas. So there are some, instances of the old world as well. These kind of things you don't find. This must be a church, and you don't really find such constructions nowadays. So modernization as well as the old world, what a charm when the two of them are found together. Moving on to Quito. It is the capital of Ecuador. Ecuador, we had also learnt yesterday. Do you remember the group of islands which belong to Ecuador? The Galapagos Islands. And Ecuador is, or the city of Quito, it is located close to the equator. Now, when someone tells us that it is some place is located close to the equator, the first thing that comes to our mind is that, my God, it must be very, very hot. Why? Because of course the direct rays of the sun, they fall on the equator, so it must be very, very hot. But however, Quito's climate is very pleasant since it is located in the Andes. The Andes mountain that pass through the entire length in the west of South America. So Quito, the capital of Ecuador, when you go through the map of your textbooks, even if you just flip the page and you go to page number 109 and see Ecuador. Ecuador is located just below Quito, you can find absolutely on the equator, and you know that the Andes pass through that region. So because of the height of the Andes, you have studied lapse rate, that as you, and you know that whenever you have visited Nainital or Dehradun or some places like that, as you go higher up the mountain, the temperature falls. So even if Quito is located on the equator, because of the height of the Andes, the climate of this city is very, very pleasant. Next we come to Bolivia, and the capital of Bolivia is La Paz. Excuse me. Children, I hope you are underlining the relevant points. Now, when we were doing map pointing, we had come across this lake, Lake Titicaca. It is a navigable lake, which means that you can actually navigate or ply your boats and steamboats, etc. over here. The most important thing about Lake Titicaca is that it is the highest navigable lake. Again, located on the Andes at a certain height. So, since La Paz is located near Lake Titicaca and Titicaca is also in the high Andes, so naturally La Paz is also located in the high mountain ranges of the Andes, which makes it actually one of the highest cities of the world. And for extra information, I have just written that, do you know that this place, La Paz, it has an average altitude of around 3,650 meters. So that is a great altitude in which the city is located. So children, with that, we complete our tour of South America. I dearly, dearly hope that maybe some of you can someday visit these wonderful areas. I found this beautiful quote by Helen Keller. It says, "Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all." So I hope you enjoyed the tour. Go out, see places, but of course, once the pandemic is over, it doesn't matter if you don't really have to go all across the world. And if you just take a small step outside of your home and you start looking around, you have so much to learn from nature. So whether it's just in your colony, whether it's just outside Lucknow, whether it's just outside UP, keep traveling, keep learning. All the best and have a nice day.